Hi, this is Simple Economics course with Tanveer Hashmi. Today we are going to learn about the calculation of nominal and real GDP. But before we proceed with this calculation, just a quick check on what is the distinction or how we distinguish between real and nominal GDP. As you know, GDP is just the total amount of goods and services produced in a country. And since everything has a numerical value, so we can assign price to each and every commodity and then multiply with the quantity to get our nominal GDP number. And then we adjust that number with inflation because prices, when they do rise, they give you a higher number, and that higher number obviously lead towards higher nominal GDP, and then we need to adjust it to convert that into real GDP. This simple example on the board will help you to calculate nominal and real GDP. I know there is no such country on the world which just produces three items or three goods and or services, but for simplicity I'm just assuming that there are only three commodities or items produced by this hypothetical country. In the second column you could see prices assumed in 2019 and quantity in 2019. Just to give you a touch of a higher GDP number, I took the quantities in million. You can see 6 zeros there. And the similar process has been repeated for 2020. To calculate the nominal GDP, it's really easy. It's simple mathematics. You just multiply 3 with 20 to get 60 here. And then you multiply 10 with 12, 120, and 25 times 50, 1250. Bear in mind that all the values are in million, but I have relatively a smaller board, so I just omitted million. But when you add them up, you get a number 1430 million, which is actually 1.430 billion. Same process is repeated for 2020, where you could see that nominal GDP is calculated by multiplying 4 times 22, 11 times 15, plus 30 times 50, and you have a number 1,753 million. This means that we calculate nominal GDP by just multiplying price with quantity. 3 times 20 plus 10 times 12 plus 25 times 50, just add them up, it gives you the nominal GDP. In order to calculate real GDP, we have to slightly change the method. But before I tell you how we calculate real GDP, you need to know that real GDP is calculated at the constant price and nominal GDP is calculated at the current price. As you can see in this table, these are the current prices for 2019, 3, 10, 25. And for 2020, you have 4, 11, 30 as current prices. In order to calculate real GDP, we need to multiply the 2020 quantity with 2019 price, because we have to keep prices constant as we adjust it with inflation. So when the prices are constant, that means we are not considering inflation between the 2 years. Obviously between these 2 years, we are not talking about previous year's inflation. So you multiply 2020 quantity with 2019 price, which gives you a number 66. Then you multiply 2020 quantity for commodity called B, 15 times 10, 150. Then you multiply 50 with the price of 2019, 25, that gives you number 1250. And you add them up, together to get the real GDP. As you can see in the red box, it's been calculated for you. It's 1,466 million. You add these three prices, which has been calculated by multiplying 2020 quantity with 2019 prices, and you get this real GDP number. You can see the difference between nominal and real GDP since this is calculated at the current price. So your nominal GDP is 1,753, but your real GDP is 1,466. So this is simple. One more thing which I want to mention here, for the year 2019, if it is taken as a base year, as you can see here, and base year, by the way, is the year in which index starts. So it's just the base year index, which is considered equal to 100. There's no difference between real and nominal GDP between for the year 2019, because in the base year we consider there's no inflation. So it's the same method you follow for nominal and real GDP. So as you can see that nominal GDP is 1,430 multiplying by the price of 2019 with quantity of 2019. Add them up, you get the number 1,430 million. And the same process you follow for the real GDP for this base year 2019, since we do not have a year before that, so the constant price would be 2019. So I hope that you have learned how to calculate real and nominal GDP. In my next video, you will be seeing how do we calculate GDP deflator index and CPI index. And if you think you have learned from this video, don't forget to subscribe the channel and share the good work. Take care. Bye-bye.